Hello and welcome to NTD News Today. I'm Evelyn Lee and here are today's top stories. Kyle Rittenhouse speaking to the media for the first time since his acquittal. We have the highlights, including his message to President Biden. Authorities confirm 39-year-old Darrell Brooks is a suspected driver of the SUV that drove through a crowd in Waukesha, Wisconsin on Sunday. President Biden and the First Lady visit Fort Bragg ahead of Thanksgiving. In aprons marked with the presidential logo, the first couple doled out food to hundreds of soldiers and their families. And families linked to the 2018 Parkland school shooting have settled with the Justice Department. Reports say they may receive nearly $130 million in damages. Kyle Rittenhouse's first interview since his acquittal is out. He spoke to Fox News' Tucker Carlson. NTD's Jessica Beatty has the details.
Teenager Kyle Rittenhouse recounted the Kenosha riots in an exclusive interview with Tucker Carlson following his acquittal.
I was there just to help anybody that needed, and shockingly, the only people I helped that night were rioters.
Rittenhouse fatally shot 2 men and injured a third that night in August of 2020. It reignited the debate about gun rights and the boundaries of self-defense.
It wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse on trial in Wisconsin. It was the right to self-defense on trial. Right. And if I was convicted, no one would ever be privileged to defend their life against attackers.
Last week, jurors found the 18-year-old not guilty on all charges. The defense argued that he'd been attacked repeatedly and shot the men in fear for his life. The prosecution portrayed him as a reckless vigilante.
This is something that I wish never would have happened, but it did, and we can't change that. How polarized it became is absolutely sickening. Yeah. Like, right or left, people using me for a cause that should never have been used as a cause.
Carlson asked Rittenhouse about a video President Biden posted on Twitter during last year's election. It seemed to suggest that Rittenhouse is a white supremacist.
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement. It's actual malice, defaming my character for him to say something like that.
We reached out to the White House for comment, but didn't hear back. After the acquittal, Biden did say he stood by the jury's decision. Rittenhouse told Carlson his case never had anything to do with race. It was about self-defense.
I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating.
Looking forward, Rittenhouse said his lawyers are exploring defamation lawsuits, and he hopes to lead a peaceful and normal life. Jessica Beatty, NTD News.
Authorities have confirmed that 39-year-old Darrell Brooks is a suspected driver of the SUV that plowed through a crowd in Wisconsin on Sunday. 5 people were killed and 48 injured. NTD's Andrew Thomas reports.
Brooks was arrested near the scene of the attack in the city roughly 20 miles from Milwaukee.
So many down there.
He faces 5 counts of first-degree homicide, according to Waukesha Police Chief Daniel Thompson. Ida Garcia witnessed the chaos.
I was taking video of them. We were watching the band, the school band. We saw them pass by. We saw the grannies. Also, we waved at them. We were just ready for the parade. We were all having a good time.
Brooks was charged in nearby Milwaukee County on November 5th with 2 felonies and 3 misdemeanors in a domestic violence incident. Court records allege he violently resisted a police officer. The records show he was also charged with bail jumping. About a week later, Brooks posted a $500 cash bond and was released from custody.
We were around the middle, towards the end of the parade, and we had just gotten on to the beginning of the parade when we heard the honking, and the vehicle just passed right behind me, and another mom almost running us over, and we saw how the vehicle just kept going.
Other court records suggest his criminal history stretches back to at least 1999. In July 2020, Brooks was charged with 2 counts of being a felon in possession of a firearm and recklessly endangering others with a weapon. In February 2021, his bond was lowered to $500, and he posted it weeks later, the records show. Kelly Davis was also at the parade.
We're still in shock. You know, it was an unfortunate incident, not something you would ever expect to happen, especially at a holiday parade. I know my two children that were in the parade were just really shaken up last night.
Several vigils and prayer services were held on Monday for the victims, including a memorial service attended by hundreds in a park near the scene. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
And President Biden today ordered 50 million barrels of oil released from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve to help cool surging energy costs and ease pain at the pump. Let's hear more.
Gas prices are high, they're too high.
The national average is $3.40. That's 3 cents more than a month ago and $1.29 more than a year ago. 81 cents more than 2019.
The American consumer never likes to pay more at the pump,
especially heading into the holidays.
But we are focused on doing everything that we can to make sure that American consumers are not bearing the short end of the stick during these periods. And so that's what the president's going to be talking about.
Today, officials say President Joe Biden is expected to announce his decision to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The hope here is the release would keep a lid on gas prices and relieve some political pressure. Nearly 24 Democrats in the House and Senate are urging the president to release oil from the reserve. But the White House wants this to be a coordinated effort, asking for a simultaneous release of stockpiled oil by large oil-consuming nations, including China, India, Japan, and South Korea. Still, tapping the SPR is only a short-term fix.
The U.S. Navy is helping with the supply chain backlog in California. The Navy has partnered with the Oxnard Harbor District to help decrease congestion at Port Hueneme. A standing joint use agreement allows the Navy to support commercial supply chain logistics when activated. The agreement took effect in November to help reduce shipping congestion at Los Angeles County's major ports. It comes as tangled supply chains have boosted costs and limited the availability of everything, from cars to clothing to toys. And earlier this month, the White House launched a dashboard to track progress in easing the backlog of imported goods. It's aimed to address fears about inflation and hard-to-find goods heading into the holiday season. The White House is also working to relax trucking regulations and persuade ports and railroads to operate around the clock. The Biden family's Thanksgiving festivities are in full swing. The president and his wife on Monday served a Friendsgiving meal to troops and their loved ones at Fort Bragg. Let's take a look.
Hundreds of troops lined up at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. There, they greeted President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, who arrived for a Friendsgiving celebration with service members and their families.
Folks, I want to thank not only you warriors, I want to thank your families, because they stand and wait. And I know how hard it is to have someone who's not at the table on a holiday.
Addressing some 250 attendees, Biden extended gratitude for their sacrifice and dedication to the country. He noted he's proud to be their commander-in-chief.
You are the most incredible group of women and men, warriors, that we've ever seen.
The Bidens also recounted their late son Beau's service in Iraq and Kosovo before his death in 2015.
I am a military mom. Our son Beau was a major in the Delaware Army National Guard, and I know what it feels like for all of your families here, because you won't be home for the holidays. I want to thank all of you. That's why we came to have dinner with you, to say thank you to you. We're so grateful.
After the brief remarks, the first couple took their place behind the tables. Donning aprons with the presidential seal, they helped dish out the stuffing for an early Thanksgiving meal. Biden's predecessors, including Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and George W. Bush, all traveled to visit troops in either Iraq or Afghanistan around the holiday. But with the combat mission in Iraq concluding this year after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, Biden chose to stay on home soil. On Thursday, the president will travel to Nantucket, an island off the coast of Massachusetts, to spend Thanksgiving with his family.
Congressional Democrats aim to impose a new fee on methane emissions. It's in the House-passed Build Back Better bill and could be passed through the Senate as early as December. Proponents say this fee will help clean up pollution and rake in revenue to pay for other climate projects, but critics say it would lead to even higher prices on heating bills and at the pump. NTD's Melina Weisskopf reports.
The new methane tax would slap a rising fee on emissions at oil and gas facilities, fines reaching up to $1,500 per ton by 2025.
I need to protect all of us from upheaval around the planet. And to do that, I believe we got to make polluters pay. We have a methane fee.
At the same time, the bill gives hundreds of millions in subsidies for companies that take steps to reduce emissions.
The more you reduce carbon emissions, the greater your tax savings.
Democrats and experts who support the proposal say it discourages pollution while helping the economy. One study by Jeffrey Rissman at Energy Innovation reports that the methane fee could increase gross domestic product, or GDP, by more than $250 billion between 2023 and 2050. However, Republicans say the fee would do more harm than good.
Theoretically, would higher taxes and increased fees and royalties cause the price of a commodity to go up? Yes. Thank you.
Critics argue that the new fees would lead oil and gas industries to send the price increases down to the consumer, resulting in even higher heating bills and gas prices. The Energy Secretary, when asked specifically about the potential for higher prices being passed to consumers, dodged the question, saying, quote, "I think it will incentivize the gas industry to do what they need to do, which is to tighten up. Oil and gas producers have pushed back, saying the extra tax is not needed because methane emissions are already regulated, and America is now leading the world in emission reductions." Reporting in Washington, D.C., Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
The United States has imposed new sanctions in connection with the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Secretary of State Antony Blinken issued a statement Monday. He said the new sanctions match the requirements of a 2019 rule called the Protecting Europe's Energy Security Act. The State Department told Congress that a vessel and an entity linked to Russia have connections to the contested pipeline, which was built in order to send natural gas from Russia to Germany. Some officials fear this could lead to Moscow leveraging energy supplies to the rest of Europe. The sanctions come around the same time reports emerged about Russian troops gathering close to the Ukraine border. And California's Governor Gavin Newsom visited a San Francisco vaccination site today and announced a new effort to encourage Californians to get the newly approved COVID booster shot. Here's NTD's Jason Blair with details.
California Governor Gavin Newsom visited the Unido and Salud vaccination site in San Francisco. Newsom's visit comes after his office announced on Saturday that the Western States Scientific Safety Review Work Group is now recommending COVID boosters for anyone over 18.
We're here promoting a new PSA, culturally competent PSA, that we're putting out, and dozens of new CBO partnerships like this all throughout the state of California, in an effort to make sure we reach out and close that divide.
Newsom said that 17% of the boosters given so far have been in the Latino community. He said that government programs are now targeting that community.
We are promoting the importance, particularly in the Latino community, to get boosters and to get vaccinated.
An expert told the Epoch Times that he's concerned about relying on a COVID booster program, especially if multiple boosters end up being needed to make the vaccines effective.
We've never vaccinated people and boosted them multiple times a year. And we don't know what is going to happen because the vaccine developers didn't study it.
Alexander added that there hasn't been enough research if things continue. Current FDA and CDC guidelines recommend vaccines for people 5 or older and boosters for adults 18 and older. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
And a new settlement has been reached between the Justice Department and more than a dozen families tied to the victims of the Parkland school shooting. The Justice Department will reportedly pay the families $127.5 million. According to a court filing, the DOJ was being sued for not following up on tips that warned about the shooter. The lead counsel for the plaintiffs released a statement saying this is, quote, the culmination of the Parkland family's long and arduous efforts toward truth and accountability. The Justice Department has not issued comment. 17 students and faculty members were murdered by Nicholas Cruz on Valentine's Day 2018. Cruz pled guilty to the shooting and is facing the death penalty. And over the weekend, several smash and grab robberies targeted businesses in Northern California. The robberies are part of the organized retail crime epidemic. Here's NTD's Eileen Ang with more details.
This Lululemon in San Jose's Santana Row is the latest victim of smash and grab. Police informed me that a group of suspects entered the store at around 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. They got away with the merchandise before police could arrive. The investigation is still ongoing.
I saw a couple girls out here by the flowers recording the traffic, so I was thinking that maybe they were doing a recon for another mob hit over here. And then about an hour later, about 6:25, 6:30 p.m., I saw two girls dart from across the street over here, and then they dashed through here into Lululemon.
Grant was security for another store nearby. He told his store to lock up and close before heading over to Lululemon. By the time he got there, he said 8 people darted out of the store across the street to a getaway car.
And they dropped some merchandise, so I was able to recover some of it and bring it back to the store. And then I made sure that they were okay, because sometimes these gangs sometimes attack the store clerks.
Earlier that same night, a group of looters hit Southland Mall in Hayward at 5:30 p.m., breaking into Sam's Jewelers. The suspects ran off with stolen goods and fled in getaway cars. As he was cleaning his store, a spokesperson for Sam's Jewelers told us that the thieves took men's diamond rings, gold rings, and gold gems. He said there were 8 to 10 people involved. They estimate a loss of $50,000 to $70,000. There were reports of Macy's getting ransacked too, but a spokesperson confirmed that the store was not impacted. Saturday saw a similar attack in Walnut Creek. In a video posted by another reporter, about 25 cars blocked the street and rushed into a Nordstrom store in Broadway Plaza. Police reported that 80 robbers entered the store at around 9 p.m. They put out warnings that evening to be prepared for the group to strike again. 2 employees were assaulted and 1 was pepper sprayed. 3 arrests have been made. On Friday night, the Louis Vuitton in San Francisco's Union Square was also robbed.
Unfortunately, it's become very easy to build a business model selling stolen goods online. And we've got to have better transparency on a lot of these online marketplaces, Amazon and Facebook, so that you can't hide behind a fake screen name and sell stolen product. Right now, it's too easy to sell stolen product online, and that's what's driving a lot of this theft.
During a press conference on Monday, Newsom said he intends to partner more closely with cities and counties to address the crimes.
We'll be stepping up those efforts in next year's budget substantially. And we have been working with cities up and down the state, including San Francisco, Walnut Creek, and others that were impacted over this weekend by these organized retail theft operations.
The weekend cases are part of a string of similarly coordinated smash and grab robberies plaguing the Greater Bay Area. Last Tuesday, thieves broke into a Chinatown jewelry store in San Francisco, making off with about $250,000 in merchandise. A day before, thieves hit a store in Concord, neighboring the recently burgled Walnut Creek. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
And Republican U.S. Senate candidate Sean Parnell dropped out of a race for a seat representing Pennsylvania. He said the decision came from a court ruling that stripped him off primary custody of his children. In a statement, Parnell said he was devastated by the judge's decision. He's planning to appeal. Parnell has been locked in a custody battle with his wife, who's accused him of abusing both her and the children. He was one of at least 27 candidates vying for a seat held by Senator Pat Toomey, who is not running for re-election. The Republican candidate was considered a front runner in some circles and had received an endorsement from former President Trump. And speaking of, former President Trump continues to endorse candidates, and some of them will challenge members of their own party in next year's primaries. One of Trump's recent endorsements is meant to unseat a Michigan congressman who voted to impeach him. NTD's Miguel Moreno has that story.
Former Trump administration official John Gibbs plans to run against Republican Congressman Peter Meijer in next year's primary election. In a press release last week, former President Donald Trump endorsed Gibbs, calling Meijer a rhino and a terrible representative of the Republican Party. Rhino means Republican in name only. Trump didn't say why he denounced Meijer in this way, but Congressman Meijer was one of the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Trump on January 13th.
Are you only running against Congressman Meijer because he voted to impeach President Trump?
Well, you have to wonder where someone's heart is when they do something like vote to impeach the most popular leader of our party, and even of many Americans not in the Republican Party in recent memory. I think it shows that that person really is out of touch with what it takes to clean up our country, to drain the swamp, so to speak, to return power to the people. So I do think that one reason in and of itself speaks volumes. People feel like they were kicked in the gut by having someone that they voted for to represent them backstab the one person that they felt was in there trying to change things.
Meijer blames Trump for January 6th, accusing the former president of fomenting the chaos that manifested at the Capitol. He says this is why he voted to impeach the former president. It's unclear how many of Meijer's constituents are unhappy with his vote, but the majority of his district voted for Trump in the 2020 election. We reached out to Congressman Meijer for comment, but we haven't heard back. Besides the impeachment issue, Gibbs says he's concerned about Meijer's support for speeding up the resettling of Afghan refugees in the United States. Like Trump, Gibbs is an America First proponent. He opposes what he calls aggressive medical mandates, saying they violate a person's freedom of choice. Miguel Moreno, NTD News.
And former President Obama's private foundation says Amazon founder Jeff Bezos promised it $100 million. That's the largest gift yet for the foundation and follows a series of donations by Bezos. In return, Bezos asked to name a plaza at the Obama Presidential Center for John Lewis. Lewis was a civil rights figure who was beaten during a march in the 1960s. News of what happened helped build support for the 1965 Voting Rights Act. He died last year at the age of 80. And coming up, American shoppers gear up for a busy Black Friday this week, but supply chain disruptions and inflation will influence how people spend this year. That and more on NTD News.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure is 100% private and does not collect or sell any of your personal data. Secure's Helix technology connects you securely to our Swiss servers without the need of a VPN, guaranteeing privacy and security for all your communications. Secure Messenger doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. Chat by Invites allows you to chat privately and securely with anyone outside of your secure network without the need for others to download Secure. Secure Send offers you a private and secure way to email anyone outside of Secure. You won't find this level of privacy or security on any other email or instant messaging application. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. My employees and I want to personally thank each and every one of you for all of your support. At MyPillow, we not only have pillows, but we have hundreds of products, including my new slippers, bathrobes, sleepwear, and my new beds. We're offering the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. For example, we have this exclusive offer on the standard size My Pillows, regularly $69.98, now only $19.98 with your promo code. We also have the queen size My Pillows, regularly $79.98, now only $24.98 with your promo code. And we have the king size, regularly $89.98, now only $29.98 with your promo code. So go to mypillow.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer.
Many U.S. shoppers are gearing up for a busy holiday season, but supply chain disruptions and inflation will influence how people spend this year. NTD's Andrew Thomas has the details.
American consumers are gearing up for Black Friday, kicking off one of the most intense periods of holiday shopping.
Yeah, so in the US, Black Friday is getting bigger and bigger every year. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Black Friday lasting an entire month. 58% of Americans in our test survey show that they believe that Black Friday is still the best #1 day to land the best possible deals on the product they want. So Black Friday and every version of it is going to continue to be big for consumers and therefore great news for retailers.
News has been mostly good for retailers in recent months, as reopenings sent shoppers back into stores.
The big month-long Black November or Black Week just isn't landing. Consumers are getting tired of Black Fridays that last more than a day. They last a week, they last a month. We've had the same thing in the UK where Boxing Day sales have turned into January sales. That used to be just December the 26th. Now it's an entire month of January.
But global supply chain issues are leaving inventories low. Rising prices also remain a worry. Soaring inflation also has markets worried about consumer spending.
Supply chain disruptions are a big problem. So consumers are worried that the items that they want to get won't be available at Christmas time in the holidays in December, either because of stockouts driven by supply chains in Europe and North America, or simply because everything's going to get sold out in Black Friday because it lasts so long now. But 42% of consumers say that they've begun their Christmas shopping early.
But recent retail sales numbers made for happier reading, showing October sales surging, as Americans started shopping early to beat supply shortages. The S&P 500 hit a record high following strong retail earnings and positive indicators for holiday shopping, but the index had fallen when the market closed Monday. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
And one of America's biggest retailers making a big announcement ahead of Thanksgiving. No more Target runs after your Turkey Day meal. Target will now close all of its stores on Thanksgiving and every year from now on. That is until further notice, of course. Many big box stores, including Target, closed last year on Turkey Day because of the pandemic. And now, according to the company's CEO, that will be their new standard. This is also a sign of how the holiday shopping traditions have changed for retailers. Deals are starting earlier and they're more spread out across the season. Walmart, Kohl's, and Best Buy will also be closed on Turkey Day this year. Some states have even banned big box stores from opening on Thanksgiving. A few big chains will be open, like Whole Foods, Kroger, and Dollar General. Hours may be limited, so make sure you double check before you head out for retail therapy on Thursday. And are you hitting the road or taking a flight this week for Thanksgiving? This holiday is expected to be one of the busiest we've seen in a long time. And today's Iris Tao spoke with AAA for some handy holiday travel tips.
So we're telling folks, you're going to have a lot of company on the roads this Thanksgiving.
Andrew Gross is the national spokesperson at AAA. The travel group says more than 53 million Americans are expected to travel this week, a surge nearing pre-pandemic levels. AAA expects 90% of those travelers, about 48 million, to travel by car.
We have found that no matter how high gasoline prices go, once someone has decided they're going to take a trip, they take the trip.
The current gas price is hovering near its highest point since 2014. But with many eager to reunite after skipping family gatherings last November and December, Gross says people will figure out a way to budget in for the higher cost.
Maybe they won't eat out as much, maybe they'll look for more free activities, but they're definitely going to go.
If you don't want to be stuck in traffic, though, avoid leaving Wednesday afternoon. Shoot for Tuesday or Wednesday morning.
If you're only going, say, 50 to 75 miles and you don't mind driving Thursday morning, Thanksgiving Day, that's also a good time to go.
And for those who are flying, expect long lines at the airport. AAA expects 4.2 million people to travel by plane this Thanksgiving holiday, an 80% increase over last year, the highest single-year jump on record.
Listen to that parent in your head. Get to the airport early, at least 2 hours early.
The TSA says it expects to screen 20 million air passengers this week. Iris Tao, NTD News.
Unruly passengers prepare to pay up. The Federal Aviation Administration just announced fines it's levied against disruptive passengers. The agency says just 8 passengers faced fines totaling $161,000. That's the third highest total since the FAA enacted its zero-tolerance policy. One of the passengers accounts for a quarter of the total. That passenger was fined almost $41,000 for allegedly bringing their own alcohol aboard a Southwest flight and then sexually assaulting a flight attendant who tried to stop them from drinking. After that, the passenger allegedly went to the airplane's bathroom to smoke pot. The newest set of fines come as the airline industry prepares to handle an estimated 20 million travelers over the Thanksgiving holiday. South Korea's former president, Chun Doo-hwan, died today. His iron-fisted rule following a 1979 military coup sparked massive democracy protests.
Former South Korean President Chun Doo-hwan has died at the age of 90, his former press aide said on Tuesday. A former military commander, Chun seized power in the coup of 1979 and then ruled the country with an iron fist. He presided over the 1980 Gwangju army massacre of pro-democracy demonstrators. He was later charged with mutiny, treason, and was arrested after refusing to appear at the prosecutor's office and fleeing to his hometown. During his trial in the mid-1990s, he defended the coup as necessary to save the nation from a political crisis and denied sending troops into Gwangju. In what was dubbed the trial of the century by local media, Chun was later found guilty of mutiny, treason and bribery and sentenced to death. In their verdict, judges said Chun's rise to power came through illegal means which inflicted enormous damage on the people. The ruling was, however, commuted by Seoul's High Court in recognition of Chun's role in the fast-paced economic development of the country and the peaceful transfer of the presidency in 1988. But his story didn't end there, and he made several returns to the spotlight. In 2003, he sparked outrage when he claimed he had assets of just around $245 in cash, 2 dogs, and home appliances, despite owing over $185 million in fines. Last year, he was also found guilty for defaming a late democracy activist and Catholic priest in his 2017 memoirs.
South Korea is caught in the middle of a growing rivalry between the U.S. and China. Washington recently stopped a South Korean microchip maker from shipping advanced equipment to its factory in China. U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai says the move was made out of legitimate concerns about the risks to national security. Here's more.
During an interview with South Korean broadcaster CBS, which aired on Monday, Ambassador Catherine Tai was asked about the U.S. banning a South Korean chip maker from installing advanced equipment at its factory in China.
I am aware of this issue, and I'm also aware that the technology in question is highly sensitive and that there are legitimate concerns about the risks to national security in terms of where this technology ends up.
The company, SK Hynix, was planning to ship some extreme ultraviolet lithography machines to its factory in Wuxi, China. The machines are used to create the most advanced microchips, but Washington barred the move. Tai said that it's important for the U.S. to work with its partners and allies, in particular on matters of shared economic and national security.
I also want to acknowledge that we consider Korea to be one of our most important national security partners.
Tai added that when it comes to national security, which includes military and defense concerns, other items could also come under such regulations down the road. SK Hynix CEO Lee Saw-hee said earlier that his company will respond to the issue wisely while cooperating with interested parties. Tai was on a 4-day trip to South Korea since last Thursday. During the visit, she stressed cooperation with Seoul to address global supply chain challenges, especially in the semiconductor sector. Now, the Biden administration is planning to set up a new Asian economic framework with allies and friendly nations. Tai had already visited Japan last week, and starting Monday, she'll be in New Delhi, India.
Coming up, at least 45 people die in a bus crash in Bulgaria, and others are still in critical condition after the bus went up in flames.
The worst genocide in human history also destroyed the lives of thousands of Jewish survivors still suffering today.
God calls on people who believe in Him to act on His word. Comfort ye, comfort my people.
Especially during this holiday season of Hanukkah. When I come here and I sit with Lily, I realize what she needs right now is food. These elderly Jews are weak and they're sick. They're living on $2 a day. This now is how God's children are living. Take this time to send a survival food box to these forgotten Jews.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews urgently need your gift of $25 now to help provide one survival food box with all of the essentials they critically need for their diet for 1 month. Your special holiday gift will provide everything they need to celebrate the miracle of Hanukkah.
This is the first time in over 70 years that she has anything to do with faith.
The communists came and wiped it out. And now we're coming to her and we're saying, it's okay to have faith. It's okay to light the Hanukkah candles.
For just $25, you can help supply the essential foods they desperately need for 1 month.
For over 35 years, this trusted ministry has given Christians like me a way to tangibly bless Jewish people who are in need throughout the world.
God tells us to take care of them, to feed the hungry. And I pray Holocaust survivors will be given the basic needs that they so desperately pray for to survive.
At least 45 people, including 12 children, died in western Bulgaria today. A bus carrying mostly North Macedonian tourists crashed in flames on a highway. Only 7 people survived the crash. They were rushed to a hospital in the capital, Sofia.
On board the bus had been mostly North Macedonian tourists. The cause of the crash was unclear, but the bus appeared to have hit a highway barrier either before or after it caught fire. Bulgaria's Interior Minister, Boyko Rashkov, vowed to carry out an investigation.
Not everyone can stand such a picture. The picture is terrifying. The details of this tragedy will be investigated. It is hard to look there, hard to look. I do not know if we should go into the details at these early hours. Maybe we should leave it for later. In my experience, I have never seen anything like this.
7 people who leapt from the burning bus were rushed to hospital in the city of Sofia and were in a stable condition. North Macedonia's foreign minister said the coach party was returning to Skopje from a weekend holiday trip to Istanbul.
And people in Bethlehem are hopeful that tourist numbers will rise in the month before Christmas, after a grim 2020.
The trickle of tourists is sometimes scarcely enough to fill a manger, let alone an inn. But Bethlehem's Palestinians are hopeful that numbers will rise in the month before Christmas. The traditional birthplace of Jesus was all but shuttered by the global health crisis last year, ravaging the tourism-dependent economy and leading some hoteliers to consider selling up. Souvenir shop owner Fadi Banan is trying to stay optimistic.
I would encourage everyone to come and visit the Holy Land. It's the time, it's the right time to come, okay? A lot of groups are coming, they're starting to come, everything is safe and we are ready. We are ready for that.
This year, Israel has eased curbs on foreign tourists in time for Christmas.
Because of the COVID, we couldn't travel, but now God has let us travel here to Bethlehem, and it's really special for us.
While grateful for the return of some foreign tourists and Christian Palestinians from the West Bank and Israel, it's still a far cry from the 3.5 million visitors who came in winter 2019. Bethlehem's municipality scaled back the town's Christmas market last year and banned most spectators from the tree lighting ceremony. This year's celebration will proceed as normal on December 4th, with visitors asked to wear masks.
An arbitrator has ordered Kevin Spacey to pay nearly $31 million to the production company behind the Netflix series House of Cards. The arbitration took place last year, and a court petition for media rights capital is now making it public. MRC claims it lost money when misconduct allegations caused it to remove Spacey from the show. It says season 6 required a total rewrite and had to be 5 episodes shorter to meet deadline. The arbitrator found Spacey and his loan and production companies are liable for that money. Spacey's attorney did not provide a comment on the story by deadline. And Tiffany & Co. just unveiled what it's calling its most expensive piece of jewelry ever. A necklace expert says it's worth over $20 million. The world's fair necklace was unveiled in Dubai on Sunday. It features 180 carats of diamond sets in platinum, while the centerpiece is an 80-carat oval, flawless D-color Empire diamond. The Empire diamond is ethically sourced in Botswana, cut and polished in Israel, and set in Tiffany's workshop in New York City. The luxury retailer has not yet put a price on the necklace, but industry experts estimate the value to be between $20 million and $30 million. And a rare manuscript by physicist Albert Einstein will be up for auction tomorrow in Paris. It's expected to fetch between $2 million and $3.5 million. The manuscript contains preparatory work for his theory of relativity. NTD's David Vives has more.
A manuscript co-authored by legendary physicist Albert Einstein will go on auction in Paris on Tuesday. It depicts the inception of the general theory of relativity, one of Einstein's most notable discoveries. The document has an estimated value of between $2 and $3 million, according to Christie's auction house. The 54-page document, called the Einstein's Bezos manuscript, is one of 2 surviving working documents that record the birth of Einstein's theory.
It's a document that shows the birth of the general theory of relativity, which is probably the most important discovery of Albert Einstein's career and one of the most important theories in the history of modern physics.
In search of scientific knowledge.
The general theory of relativity was developed by Einstein between 1907 and 1915. It states that gravity is a warping of space and that massive objects can warp space and time around it. Vincent Beloy, a books and manuscripts expert at Christie's, said the manuscript challenges Einstein's popular image as an absolute genius because it shows that even one of the world's most intelligent scientists made mistakes.
Einstein makes errors in this manuscript, and that, I think, makes it even greater in a way, because we see the persistence, the thought that was in the process of being built, that is being corrected and redirected.
The theory of relativity forever changed how scientists understood the universe and shaped modern physics.
And if you're looking for a caffeine boost, today's your day. It's National Espresso Day. Most of us think of espresso as that thick, dark, wonderfully foamy liquid energy that comes out of a big, expensive machine at the coffee shop. But according to nationaldaycalendar.com, before the machine came along, espresso just meant a single serving of coffee made to order. Then Italian inventor and businessman Luigi Bezzera changed the whole game in 1901 when he patented the first known espresso machine. The invention paved the way for countless high-octane caffeine concoctions, using espresso shots as a base. That means lattes, mochas, cappuccinos, macchiatos, and more. Espresso makes them all possible. It's even used in baked goods and ice cream too. Your good night or restless night's sleep begins the moment you wake up. We have some tips on how to improve your sleep quality. Here's Gina Marie, who brings us Strong Mind and Body.
Welcome to Strong Mind and Body. I'm Gina Marie. Getting a good night's sleep is about more than the time directly before bed. It's also about more than when your head hits the pillow. It starts almost as soon as you wake up. How you spend your day can play a big role in how you spend your night. Maybe your nights are long and filled with tossing and turning. Take a look at what you are doing during the day, as it may offer a potential fix. Make sure you are getting plenty of activity in. That way you'll likely feel tired and ready for recovery and sleep when evening rolls in. If the bulk of your day is spent sitting around, whether you're working or relaxing, you may have a harder time feeling tired. Or even if you feel like your brain is tired, your body may have a different idea. Finding ways to burn some energy every day can bolster sleep quality. It gives your body that little push it might need to seek recovery and send you to bed. Of course, you have to break the cycle of poor sleep. If you don't sleep well, you are unlikely to feel energized enough to get up and do some exercise. But at some point, you'll just have to push through. Turn up the music and dance in your living room. Get outside for a walk. Do a few rounds of stairs in your house, or even lift some weights. Just find something to get you moving for about 30 to 45 minutes. In addition to a dedicated exercise block each day, try to increase overall activity throughout the day. That could mean doing some chores, walking around the house to take a break from work, and walking on the spot during TV commercials. Doing some activity every day, along with improving sleep hygiene practices, may help you to sleep a little more surely each night.
People from all walks of life came together and found a common theme in a classical Chinese dance performance. Many expressed surprise that these artists cannot perform in their home country.
On behalf of the office, we are celebrating and proclaiming November 20th and 21st Shen Yun Performance dates in the city of New Brunswick, New Jersey. Congratulations.
Last week, Shen Yun Performing Arts gave 3 full house performances in New Brunswick, New Jersey. The company received 2 proclamations from State Senator Samuel Thompson and the Mayor of New Brunswick.
Congratulations. Well done. And thank you for coming and entertaining the folks here in New Jersey.
Thank you. Shen Yun's dancers are trained in classical Chinese dance. It embodies deep cultural traditions from China.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. The dancing, the music, everything. The orchestra was excellent.
The most magnificent thing was when the dancers left the stage and became animated, and then came back animated back on the stage in real form. That was magnificent. The technology was incredible.
The cultural trip through time, through all the different time periods, the exposure to the culture, especially the spiritual part, that was really something that's, I think, important for all of us to see, and it was helped us with the experience. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful performance.
I think the stories were the best part. It's a story about repression. It's a story about redemption. It's a story about keeping tradition alive, and I thought that was incredible, really incredible.
Ancient Chinese culture is said to be divinely inspired. However, under communism, much of that culture has been lost. Shen Yun is reviving that culture and highlights the ongoing persecution of the spiritual faith Falun Gong by communist China.
It was disappointing to see the persecution, but the show brings it to light. It brings the culture to light, and it shows that the culture should not be suppressed, and that it's important that people learn and preserve the culture.
Some of the stories about communist China and some of the repression that is put on the people in communist China was very, very telling and very meaningful. Seeing that being exposed here was very enlightening as well. It was something we weren't really that familiar with, but something that really told the story that maybe we'll even look more into later on.
Shen Yun's next performance will be in Minneapolis on the first weekend of December. NTD News, New Brunswick, New Jersey.
And that's it for now. Remember to catch us again tonight at 6:30 Eastern. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
to our newsletter. Go to newsletter.ntd.com and sign up. It's free.